제 이름은 예나예요. 안녕하세요. I've learned Korean a few ways over the years. With a book, with a teacher in a classroom, but at the moment I'm learning via apps. The app I wanted to review today is the one I've been using and testing out for about 4 or 5 months now, and that's Memrise. Memrise has 3 levels of Korean that you work through. Korean 1 covers your basics like learning the alphabet, pronouns, simple useful words like welcome, thank you, how are you, some nouns and verbs like tired, hungry, delicious, eat, drink, like, do, hanja numbers, that kind of thing. By the end of course 1, you can learn 219 words. Korean 2 adds adjectives and some more nouns and verbs, helpful phrases, particularly geared actually around visiting Korea as a tourist, like where is the bank, I want to buy, let's go to, as well as things like colours, clothes, family, and loads of other things. So this course would teach you an additional 396 words. Korean 3 goes even further with everything, so words and phrases that would be helpful as a tourist, but also things that probably won't come up as a tourist, like millimeter and centimeter and school-related things. So this course teaches you a further 591 words. Each course is progressively bigger, so the last one will take the longest. With the free version, you get the basic ways of learning, so there's a female voice and a male voice, and they both will say words in Korean and also show it to you on the screen spelled out, and you pick an answer or spell a word in multiple choice.
계산서.
아니요, 나는 한국 사람이 아니에요. 다, 시,
맛.
맛.
For the paid version, you get lots of extra features, so you can learn with locals so that you can hear native speakers and see them on video.
커피는 정말 맛있어요.
오케이.
그것은 나를 위한 것이에요?
You can test your pronunciation by speaking into the phone's mic, and it will tell you how closely you are to saying the word correctly.
나는 빵을 좋아해요.
나는 빵을 좋아해요. The listening skills feature means you have to pick the answer based purely on what you can hear because it isn't spelled out in front of you.
나는 정말 잘 지내요. 메뉴 좀 주시겠어요? 다시 말해 주시겠어요? 계산서 좀 주시겠어요?
The difficult words feature will pick up on words that you are struggling with, struggling to remember, and will go over those words with you multiple times to help you learn them.
그것은 당신을 위한 것이에요.
그것은 당신을 위한 것이에요. 그것은 당신을 위한 것이에요.
The speed review is a quick fire timed test, so you can go over old words that you've learned really quickly.
하다.
음식.
You can also download the course as an offline version with the paid version, so if you're struggling with signal like I do on my commute underground through London, you can continue learning while out of signal range. The way it works makes it quite easy to learn and memorize words and phrases. So everything is multiple choice, so the answer will always be in front of you, just hidden among other wrong answers. And this is good because producing translations in English or Korean with nothing to go on is actually really difficult. So just seeing the word fruit and having to come up with the Korean word for it is really hard. But seeing the word fruit with 3 or 4 other wrong words makes it doable and lessens your frustration because you'll get things right more often if you've been paying attention. At first, the words it has you learn can seem quite random, like fairly early on you learn the word for think, and it's like, do I need to know this now? Surely there are more useful verbs and nouns to learn first. But it incorporates those random words in sentences using other useful words like, I think this is too small, I think it's too big, I think it's too short. So the sentences start to make sense much quicker, and you're also practicing words like think over and over, cementing them in your brain. I love the extra features of the paid version. I think that learning with locals is so important because everyone speaks differently at different speeds rather than just the clear app male and female voices, so it'll get you used to understanding lots of different voices. Pronunciation is also really important because learning on your own is mostly a silent operation. You just click some buttons and you may never say the words out loud. So when it comes to actually speaking, you may find you trip over things that you've never actually practiced saying out loud. The listening and difficult words and the speed review features, they're also really great ways to diversify how you're learning. And I find it helpful if I know I'm struggling with a word, I'm able to actually flag it to myself so that I know that it will come up again later. It's really easy to use on my commute as well, so just pick it up for half an hour or an hour, and there's also a desktop version if you prefer to sit at a computer and do it as well. My computer's behind me, that's why I'm pointing. So negatives, because there are always a few, there's nothing that's ever perfect. If you're on an iPhone, you can only do course 1, lesson 1 for free. You have to pay to do any more. I don't know why, but on an Android you can go through all the courses for free, but you just don't get all of the features. The offline feature in the paid version isn't the best. If I've started using the app with signal, I can often continue to use it when I lose all my signal, but it will be slower to load. But if I open the app without any signal, it just won't find the lessons, so something to bear in mind. The pronunciation feature will only test me on 3 words at a time, which is kind of annoying. So if I want to specifically test my pronunciation, I have to keep specially selecting the feature after only 3 words. And while it mostly is really good at picking up what I say, sometimes it says I'm nowhere near accurate when I know I'm at least close. The biggest thing is that the app gives you words and phrases and grammar to learn, but it has no accompanying text to explain anything. So the ending "예요" and "예요" you choose depending on whether the preceding word ends in a vowel or a consonant. But although you're given both options, the app doesn't actually explain when you use one or the other. I just happen to know that already from having other Korean lessons. There are various things like this where it tells you what the language is in a certain way, but there's no accompanying text whatsoever for you to find out why. So you just have to accept things are the way they are. And sometimes things stick in your head better if you know why. Overall though, I rate the app really highly for Korean beginners or for people who have learned or who are learning in a different way. So like through books or a teacher, and you'd also like a gamified way of brushing up on the language, maybe while you're on the move. Also, I'd recommend getting the paid version. I do think it's worth it, and it's also not really that expensive. 고마워요. 안녕!